This is Tales and Whispers, where every story is felt, not just heard.
What's the real price of wisdom? I mean, can you even put a number on it? Well, this incredible folktale is all about that very question. It's the story of a man who traded 20 years of his life, not for a pile of gold, but for just 3 pieces of advice.
So the setup here is just heartbreaking. A young man makes this pact with his wife. He's going to leave for 20 years to build them a better life. He leaves her with their son, who's only a month old, and this really heavy condition. If he's late by even a single day, she's free to move on. The emotional stakes, they just couldn't be any higher.
So, we're going to follow his entire journey. We'll start with the promise that shaped his whole life, then get to the strange price he paid for wisdom, and see how that wisdom gets put to the test, ultimately showing us what its true, incredible value really is.
Yeah, it all kicks off with this massive sacrifice. Imagine 2 decades away from everyone and everything you love, all for a promise you made when you were young.
And for 20 long years, he works his fingers to the bone at a wheat mill. When the time is finally up, he goes to his boss and says, "It's time, I have to go home." His boss, who's grown to see him like a son, actually begs him to stay. But nope, the man can't. A promise is a promise.
All right, so after 2 decades of hard labor, he's finally about to get paid. But the choice he's about to make, well, it's not about money at all. It's a decision that's going to completely change his destiny.
His boss hands him his life savings, just 3 gold coins. I mean, think about that, 20 years of work for this tiny sum. As he starts his journey home, he runs into 2 young men with their father, an old man who doesn't say a word.
He finds out the old man only speaks if you pay him 1 gold coin for each piece of advice. And this is where our guy makes a wild decision. He spends his entire fortune, 1 coin at a time, for these 3 really cryptic counsels. So now he's got no money, just a few sentences rattling around in his head.
He doesn't have to wait very long to see if he just got scammed. The value of his purchase gets put to the test almost immediately with that first piece of advice.
He gets to a river, and it's just overflowing, raging. Remembering that first counsel, he decides to wait. Just then, a knight on a huge horse comes by, basically laughs at him for being a coward, and charges right into the water. And poof, the current just sweeps them away. The knight drowns, but the horse somehow swims back to shore. So his life is spared, and now he has a horse. 1 coin spent, 1 life saved. Not a bad deal.
Okay, so his second piece of advice, this one isn't just about being cautious. This one is about being curious, and it's what helps him get back the fortune he so easily just gave away. So, as he's riding along, he sees vultures circling over some bushes. Now, most people would probably just keep on going, right? But he remembers the second counsel and decides to investigate. And what does he find? The bodies of 3 bandits who had clearly killed each other fighting over a bag stuffed with gold. Way more than the 3 coins he spent.
He finally makes it home. He's rich, he's alive, only to face the last and by far the most powerful test. And this one isn't a battle against a river or bandits, it's a battle against himself. He creeps up to his own house, peers through the window, and sees his wife sitting at a table with a young man. Instantly, he is just consumed by this white-hot rage. He feels completely betrayed. He grabs his weapon, ready to storm in and get his revenge on both of them.
In that moment of pure fury, just as he's about to do something he can never, ever take back, the old man's third piece of advice pops into his head. You know, the one that cost him his very last gold coin?
He forces himself to stop, to wait, and he starts to count, fighting against every single instinct, screaming at him to act. 1, 2, 3. Every number is a little war against his own anger, just buying him precious seconds to think. And in that forced quiet, as he's counting, he overhears the young man speak, and he hears him call the woman mother and talk about his plan to go out and search for the father he's never even met. The realization just hits him like a ton of bricks. That young man isn't some lover. He's the 1-month-old baby he left behind 20 years ago. That third counsel didn't just save a life, it saved his entire world. It saved his family, and it saved his own soul from a lifetime of horrible regret. So when you think about it, what did he really buy with those 3 gold coins? It wasn't magic. It was practical, powerful wisdom, the common sense to respect danger, the curiosity to look closer, and maybe most importantly, the discipline to pause before you act. Just look at the return on that investment. The first coin, spent on being prudent, bought him his life back.
The second, spent on being curious, bought him a fortune. But that third coin, the one he spent on self-control, that bought him something truly priceless, his family and his soul. The very reasons he worked for 20 years to come home in the first place.
So in the story, wisdom cost 3 gold coins. It taught our hero that just one moment of patience is worth so much more than a lifetime of regret. But it leaves us with a much bigger question to think about, doesn't it? What's the real cost of not having that wisdom in our own lives?